So, Sonya,
Yes, sir.
what is going to be keeping you occupied over this Easter season?
Well, I'm actually going to be delving back into a world that I kind of lost track of for a while. It's the world of Fables.
Yes, I remember you used to be heavily into that. What happened?
Was indeed. Well, before I get into that, let me just explain a little bit for any of you who haven't been involved in the Fables world. Sure. Fables is a fabulous series written by Bill Willingham with art by Mark Buckingham, but there are a lot of other artists that have kind of come on board throughout the course of its run. The concept behind Fables is that every fairy tale you've ever heard, and even the ones you haven't heard, are real. There are dimensions where witches, ogres, and dragons live side by side, where grand viziers ride magic carpets, where rabbits wear waistcoats. It's never really stated whether we create these worlds because we tell these stories, or we tell the stories because somehow we know the world exists. It's kind of cool in its ambiguity. I really enjoy reading and trying to work it out for myself. However, the main point is that a large number of these fairy tale characters have been driven from their homes centuries ago by the armies of the adversary and have ended up in our world. Seeing how the characters interact with each other is a large part of the fun in this title. For example, finding out that the Prince Charming who swept Snow White, Sleeping Beauty and Cinderella off their feet was actually the same guy. Or seeing a Pinocchio who was turned into a real boy by the Blue Fairy and has stayed the same age for 300 years. And then of course we have one of my favourite central characters, Bigby Wolf, who's the sheriff of Fabletown and obviously the big bad wolf. Now please don't think that because this series is set around fairy tales that this is going to be a soft and fluffy little story. It's certainly not. It's a series that has buckets of violence. There's intrigue, there's politics, there's adventure, and that's before the adversary starts sending his minions in after the escaped fable creatures. And I think with so many characters in this wonderful world and so many different dimensions and so many different worlds, it really gives the artist a really wonderful chance to shine and show what they can do. It's really wonderful to read. But I did drop out of it, as I said, but a lot of that's got to do with the fact that I may have OD'd on trade paperbacks. I got issue number 4 and 8, 4 through to 8, and I read them all in a week and a half. It was a bit too much all at once.
Can be.
So I've decided over my Easter break, I am going to head back on into Fabletown. I'm going to collect a few extra ones that I haven't got, maybe 9, 10, 11, 12, one for each day. That should be fine. If you haven't checked out Fables, I highly recommend you use your Easter break to have a look into the story.
Okay,
cool.
So you're going to move into new stuff. You're not just staying with the old stuff?
I'll read a little bit of the old, but mainly new,
Okay.
Sounds like you're not going to do the same thing.
Well, for me, Easter is all about laying out on the couch, surrounded by chocolate wrappers and hot cross bun crumbs, and not moving much at all.
Fair enough.
So I don't want to have to be looking for new copies of things. I'm going to indulge by going back into one of my personal favourites, namely the Sandman series. Having got a hold of the complete Sandman slipcover set fairly recently, I think this Easter break is going to be a great opportunity for me to just plow entirely through the whole thing all over again.
That's a lot.
It's just such a seminal piece of work from Neil Gaiman, and especially now with Bubbling coming up, that he's working on a prequel to this series. I'm very excited, and I think it seems like a great opportunity to go back into it.
Yeah.
Now, since this is such a well-known series, I'm not going to bother giving you the breakdown.
No. I called cheat on that. We're a review show. You have to. There are people out there who haven't read Sandman.
Fine.
Go on,
Fine.
do it.
Okay, for those of you unfamiliar with the Sandman, the series revolves around an entity known as Dream, one of 7 incarnations of the Endless. His family is made up of death, despair, delirium, desire, destiny, and destruction. Of course, destruction has vanished by this point when we enter the story. Now, the series begins with Dream getting captured by a sorcerer who is actually attempting to summon death at the time. Dream is then held captive for years, causing untold damage to the world as people find themselves variously unable to dream, unable to wake up, or slowly driven insane. Now, when Dream finally escapes, he's forced into an uphill battle to retrieve the power that he's lost during his incarceration. Now, that's just the first volume of this series. Throughout the rest of the series, we see whole dimensions coming to an end. We see Lucifer quit his job. We see conflicts between immortals, and we see the potential for the whole of reality to be rewritten if enough cats dream the same thing at the same time. The Sandman is just one of those series that comes along all too infrequently.
Yeah.
It just has this dizzying array of intricate characters. It has these ideas that are almost too big to wrap your head around, and yet it's still this fantastic adventure story that carries you along with it. And look, as you were saying before with Fables, it's fantastic to find a series that really gives free rein for artists to really spread their wings.
Absolutely.
And this is another one of those.
There's a lot of artists that work on
Some
Sandman.
fantastic artists over the years on this series, guys like Charles Vess, Colleen Doran. There's been so many great artists that's worked on this that
Totally.
they've all left their mark on the Sandman as they've gone along. So look, if you haven't read the Sandman, then please promise me you'll get into it. And if you have, do like I do. Choose to use this break to actually get back into it. And you know what you said, 4 till 8 was too. I'm going to go 1 through to 10 on this one, and I don't think it's going to be a problem at all.
I don't think so.
So that's how I'm spending my Easter.
Awesome.